Meli Kaliki Maka to all you and yours. Merry Christmas, everybody. Aslan Hajivandi, Corey Clark, Warchant Transfer Portal Tracker powered by Cummins. Promo code TAILGATE, even after the holiday season is over, still save 10%. Corey, I'm about to meet up with Irish Show fellow in Orlando to go down to a bowl game. I don't know who else is going to be joining us in Garden and Gold other than Jarian Jones and whoever else decide to opt in. We're here to talk about the latest defection for Florida State. This one, not only a bowl opt-out, Corey, but a transfer portal defection, if you will. Tate Rodemaker, through his family, announcing that they intend to enter the transfer portal, and he will not play in the Orange Bowl game, Corey. The hits keep on coming for the Noles, even on the holiest of all days.
Yeah, it's could have done it tomorrow, Tate, but I guess they were getting on the plane, right? And they were going to wonder why old Tate wasn't getting on the plane on Christmas Day. Look, I don't think either one of us is surprised that he's leaving. Just the timing of it, like it would have made a little more sense to either do it 2 weeks ago. As soon as Cam Ward and DJ officially visited, you knew they were on campus. If that was going to bother you enough to want to leave, to know that, okay, they're recruiting over me, they don't believe in me, and he has every right to want to go somewhere that believes in him and that he has a real chance to play. Clearly, that's not at Florida State because he's about to enter his 5th year, and they're still looking for guys to play quarterback that aren't named Tate Rodemaker. So he knew where he kind of stood there, but if that was going to bother you enough, you could have left then and maybe given them an extra week and a half to kind of prepare for whatever is going to happen in South Florida. But at the end of the day, whether he left today on Christmas or he left 2 weeks ago, the end result is still it's going to be Brock Glenn playing quarterback against the University of Georgia on Saturday in Hard Rock Stadium. So we'll see how it goes. I hope it goes well. Brock Glenn maybe can make some plays. We'll see. But this is obviously it's another. To me, honestly, it's another nail in the coffin of the 23 season. It's completely over. That season is over. It was ended 3 weeks ago in a conference room in Dallas, but it was ended then, and this is just another nail in the coffin of what was a great season, but is obviously, this isn't. You're not going to see the 2023 Florida State football team in the Orange Bowl. You're just not. And good luck to him. But yeah, we can talk a little bit more about the timing of the decision or the fact that he's transferring at all.
What do you think is the biggest news to come out of this? The fact that he will no longer be with the program, or the timing of it and how it affects the bowl game?
No, I think the timing of it in the bowl game, because it's, again, they play in they play in 5 days, right? That game's the 30th. We're talking here on Christmas. So I think it's the timing of it. Just like, don't practice for 2 weeks and then leave. At the end of the day, Brock Glenn was going to get the reps he was going to get. They're not going to have Brock Glenn get every single rep with the first team. And Brock Glenn was getting reps with the first team, just as Tate Rodemaker got reps with the first team throughout the season, even when Jordan Travis was healthy. That's just how they practice. They let the second stringer get plenty of work with the ones, whatever the ones even are for the Florida State offense right now, which it's just not what we're used to seeing. But at any rate, I think it's just the timing of it, because the reality of it is, can you blame Tate? No. Can you blame Tate for wanting to go leave?
No. But to your point, though, it's the timing of it. Like, unless Brock did something crazy in the practices that we did not see to kind of overtake him and then maybe be the starter for this game, which, if you look at the video that we shot, it seemed like Tate was getting what you would think would be the first team reps when they would go through individual drills. It's, again, just to your point, it's kind of a weird timing. Maybe it's just the fact that, listen, when we saw them practice, I think on Thursday, they got the break and go home and hang out with their families. Maybe you're around your family and you're kind of taking inventory. And you're just like, this isn't going to work out, man. Like, maybe just talking to your father, your mother, and it just kind of settles in that, listen, you're not in their long-term plans. You need to look out for yourself. And it's going to be kind of an awkward timing regardless, but maybe you kind of also look around and realize all the guys that aren't at practice. And you're like, well, hey, I'm going to.
What am I doing this for? What am I doing this for? Like, nobody's giving Trey Benson grief for worrying about his future not playing in this game. What am I doing this for a program that clearly doesn't want me to be the guy? They don't believe in me. They've recruited over me. And so why would I go put my body on the line for this team that isn't even the team? This isn't the team. This isn't the team that played Louisville. This isn't the team that played Florida. So why am I doing this when I can get a head start on my future? Why risk injury? why put up bad film? Like and look, I'm not saying it's not a selfish decision. It is, but they're all selfish. All players are selfish at this point, and they should be, just like the coaches are selfish. They're not rewarding Tate Rodemaker's loyalty by saying, you're going to be our guy in 24. We believe in you. If they had been, if Cam Ward and DJ, my man, Uga Ungalale, had not shown up for official visits, Tate Rodemaker would be the quarterback here. But the coaches brought them in, knowing this was a distinct possibility and maybe an inevitability. Now, we don't know what the conversations were behind the scenes. Clearly, they didn't spring those official visits on Tate and be like, we don't know what you're talking about. Cam Ward's not here. What, Tate? No, man, go hang out at your apartment for a few hours. They didn't do that. They obviously had conversations. We don't know what those conversations were. We don't know if they got assurances from Tate that he was going to play in the game anyway. It did not bother him. He wanted to compete for this team. And then on Christmas, he changes his mind. That would ruffle some feathers. We get it. And I also want people to understand, I don't blame the coaches either. Like, this game does not mean anything. They have to look out for, they cannot look out for the best interest of the 2023 Orange Bowl. They have to look out for the best interests of the Florida State football program in 2024. So they have to go get a quarterback. So whether they ruffle Tate Rodemaker's feathers or Brock Glenn's feathers or whoever, that can't be their concern. Hurt feelings can't be their concern. They have to go get themselves a quarterback to compete for another playoff spot in 2024. They clearly don't think Tate's the guy. So he got that message. And now they got his message that he doesn't want to play for them anymore. Just, again, the timing of it, right? The 5 days before, we're not privy to the behind-the-scenes conversations. We do know Tate was at practice, the 2 practices we saw. He was at practice, and you guys knew it because we filmed some of it. So but nothing would have changed other than, like you said, maybe they were told him and Brock Glenn were going to split snaps because they wanted it. Whatever he might have been told. I don't think I would be surprised if anything that had happened in the last few days had changed what changed his opinion was those kids visiting 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, right?
Yeah. But that was a week and a half ago, though. Like,
right.
Talk about delayed reaction.
That's what makes it odd. Yeah, that makes it odd. But again, like you said, and I wrote this in my column that'll be on Warchant, hopefully when you're watching this or soon, is maybe you do go home for the holidays for a few days and you really have time to think it over, sit down with your family and talk about it and have real conversations like, look, Tate, you don't know this. And he doesn't know this program anything. How many quarterbacks in the country stayed as a backup for 4 years? I bet you can't name 5. I bet there aren't, you can't fill up 2 hands for sure with guys that stayed at a Power 5 school for 4 years at that position. It just does not happen anymore. Most quarterbacks would have left 2 years ago. Most quarterbacks are A.J. Duffy. Tate Rodemaker stuck it out for 4 years. And because of that, you have a win at Louisville. You have a win at the Swamp. For all I know, you have a win against North Alabama because that thing wasn't going well either. But he definitely won you 2 games by being loyal to the program and being loyal to Florida State. So I hope this Christmas exit doesn't besmirch his name too much because he was a really good Seminole that played here for 4 years knowing he was going to be a backup. And that just does not happen in college football anymore. And now you hope he can go find a spot where he can go play and play immediately, obviously.
I think this game had been at 14 points. It crept up, if you want to say it. I mean, the hook got added. It was 14 and a half, I think, last time we hung out and talked, Corey. And now it's sitting at, 17 and a half?
16 and a half last I saw, but it might keep climbing, yeah.
So what does this ultimately mean for this game? I mean, Georgia seemingly they're going to have their starting quarterback. Ladd McConkey is going to be made available this week down in Fort Lauderdale. So it sounds like he's going to play. One of their standout offensive linemen is also part of this roster that's going to speak. Rosemy Jackson, one of their receivers, I think that, is draft eligible, might be going to the draft, is going to play in the bowl game. I mean, we saw what Brock did against Louisville. This is probably a little bit of a step up in competition for Brock. I mean, do you go for broke in a game like this if you're Mike Norvell, or are you just going to play it so conservatively to safeguard against giving any added ammunition to your enemies out there that have kind of left you out in the lurch this past
What does that mean,
weeks?
go for broke? What do you mean by that? Like throw the ball?
Just any serviceable option. Do you not just wildcat? Are you going to do all the razzle dazzle, break out the veer? Break out the wishbone if you think that's going to help you move the ball and keep it away from Georgia.
I don't know, man. Look, I look at this game now, especially. Well, I was looking at this before. Like, look, man, you guys all know who isn't going to be there already. Tate was, Tate just, it wasn't going to be pretty even with Tate. But now you lost him, and you saw what that offense looked against Louisville with Keon Coleman and Jaheim Bell and Johnny Wilson and Trey Benson. You saw that already. Now take away some or all of those guys and imagine what that offense would have looked like. And now that's what you're getting against a better defense. It is not going. It's not going probably to be a great day for Florida State. But again, this isn't any semblance of what this Florida State team was all season. And so everybody's going to be, hopefully you're holding 2 shakers of salt and you're taking this game with all those grains of salt, because it does not matter. This is not the team that you watched and cheered for 13 games. And even if Tate is playing, it was going to be, let's just say, challenging. As Aslan said on Wake Up Warchant last week, one of those practices, for sure, Tate did not look good. You have to wonder what his mindset is like as a 4-year player that knows that they're trying to recruit over him again because they don't think he's good enough. Yep. And when you're 21, 22, when you're 48 years old and you've given 4 years of your life to something, and you know the people that make decisions don't believe in you, well, maybe you're not focused 100%. Maybe you're not giving it your all. Maybe you're like, why am I here? Why am I doing this if they don't believe in me? Why am I going to go out there and risk everything? I'll put myself on the line for a program that doesn't believe in me. And that's just the overarching point of the portal period. I think with this one, though, as we've talked about already, I don't think anybody begrudges him leaving at all. They don't. And I think everybody would have said on December 30th, however that game goes, Tate, you were awesome. Have a great career. We appreciate everything. You were a great Seminole. But leaving on Christmas leaves a sour taste in people's mouth 5 days before the game. But then again, it's Tate Rodemaker's life and not y'all's. And maybe he decided, playing against that salty defense with, let's just say, a few of my weapons not available, I'll be throwing to a lot of second stringers and backups and freshmen and handing off to people that don't usually get handed off to. Because you lost your number 1 running back. So all that stuff just makes you think, okay, maybe he went home and was like, what's best for me in my final year of college football? Does this help me or hurt me? And I bet it really was a tough decision, man. I don't think he did it lightly. And you just hope he goes and finds a place where he can play. And I hope people always appreciate that he did stick it out for 4 years, even though he left on Christmas.
As we record this, he has not officially entered the portal, but his intentions have been made. Ira was able to confirm with the family that is.
Well, and the head coach tweeted out something on Christmas. So, I mean, it didn't seem like he was very happy. It was an odd tweet about, you can pop it up here. And I love that it had a Nicolas Cage meme at the end of it, which we all need on Christmas. But yeah, I think there was something pointed there. It was not he hasn't officially entered the portal yet. But Norvell, when he's okay with the decision, always tweets out, lauds the player, praises the player. This was more of a, maybe like a subtweet. I'll read it, I guess, for the people that don't feel like reading. The world will let fear affect it. And keep in mind, this was an hour after the news broke, less than an hour on Christmas. So it doesn't seem like this is just happenstance. He was getting ready to tweet this all day. This seems like not a coincidence. The world will let fear affect it. Life can be full of disappointing moments and will always have competition. Be true and honest in the moment. You then you can live with all the results. Excited and grateful for each opportunity. Keep climbing. All we got, all we need. And then I think the meme says, "Okay, let's roll."
Yeah. It's Nick Cage. Like, okay, let's roll.
Yeah. So I think that was pretty pointed. That wasn't very subtle on the head coach's part. He's not. And look, I get it. Like I would assume they had conversations, plenty of them, and Tate had told them, "I'm going to be there. I'm going to play for you in the bowl game. I'm going to play for you in the bowl game." And then 5 days before, he says, "No, I'm not." And yeah, man, that sucks. It's not great. It also sucks for Tate that you don't think he's good enough to play for your program. And if you don't think he's good enough to play for your program next year, why should he play for your program against Georgia without any of his best players? You know what I mean? Like, you see, my point is, you see both sides. That's all.
Yeah.
You see both sides. There's not really a wrong. The only thing that's wrong with all of this is this stupid schedule, the stupid calendar, where kids enter the portal at the same time you're supposed to be preparing for a bowl game. And it makes it very hard, and it puts you in all these kind of awful situations where players have to bail on their teams 5 days or 7 days before they play their final game.
I might need to rip this out and make it a Wake Up Warchant podcast. But last question, I know you actually have a family. You've got like a fiance and a child to go hang out with.
That's right. Well, not the fiance, but Brady's in there playing Xbox, so yeah, he's really hoping I get done with this quick.
Do you still get the joy of seeing him unwrap his presents, Corey? Is it still a thing? No. Okay.
Not a 50. Well, I shouldn't say that. He didn't get really any great presents to unwrap. It was a lot of gift cards. If I got him something really cool, like a car, I would be excited about that reaction, but that ain't happening.
I don't know how to really ask this. It's kind of a weird thing, I guess, but AJ Duffy didn't put anything on tape, and he got an offer to San Diego State. Where do you think Tate's future lies? I mean, do you think he saw that at all and was like, well, shoot, like if AJ got a shot to go compete for a job at a group of 5 and, I was the number 2 guy in line here, maybe actually somebody else out there might believe in me more than this staff, and I can lead a good program. Obviously not a blue blood iconic brand,
right?
But I mean, do you think he maybe sees like, well, shoot, man, if AJ could leave and get an offer, I'm probably good too. Then let me get a head start and figure it out.
He should go ahead and go to San Diego State, and AJ is going to be like, wait, what? You're not? No, I'm not behind this guy again. If they'll take AJ, they certainly would take Tate Rodemaker. I think the thing with AJ, it's going to be weird with Tate because AJ is the unknown, right? Like, he's only been in the system for 2 years. He never got to really play. So there's the untapped potential. You kind of see, we know what Tate is. He's gotten enough playing time, and he's been a college player for long enough that he won't be signed on potential. It will be signed on what he's proven, his actual ability. And yeah, man, I don't foresee maybe there's no Power 5 school that he would go to and be the automatic starter. I don't think that would happen. So I wonder what he's thinking about. I mean, for all I know, and I think he's better than this. I think he can play at a higher level than this. But maybe they'll, going home and playing for somebody for playing for Valdosta State is alluring. To go back home and play in Valdosta again, I think he's a better player than that program, maybe. But that's not a bad way to finish your career if you think you're definitely going to start there. You get to start 1 year of college football. I don't think he is a guarantee at any other type of, even like I don't think there's any ACC school where if Tate Rodemaker transferred, he's an automatic day one starter. He has to go win a job. Yeah. So with that, but there are other programs around the country where I think he would be the auto day one starter or the presumed starter. So yeah, I think that'll be interesting where he goes. I don't know if AJ's decision had any bearing on that or not, but I just think it's more about Cam Ward and DJ and those guys in the portal, knowing that Florida State doesn't believe in you enough to give you the job heading into next year.
I just think your options, maybe you look at it, it's my only options aren't either quit the game or just sit here behind these guys. It's like, well, man, if other guys I'm looking at across the country are getting offers to go play at schools, like, man, shoot, I feel like I'm more skilled, I'm more talented, I put some more stuff on film, I can probably find something comparable or better than sitting behind these guys. And like, to your point, there's probably some other Power 5 programs that aren't going to have Cam Ward or DJ Uiagalelei as their starter right now. So maybe that's somehow, Tate can get a good spot.
Here's the real hypothetical, Aslan. What if they were in the playoff? What if they were preparing to play Washington in the Sugar Bowl on January? No. But the question being, do you think Cam Ward and DJ still visit if Florida State's getting ready to play in a game of that magnitude, knowing how it would ruffle the feathers of the guy you've got leading you in the playoff game?
They'd want to come visit. Would Mike Norvell let those guys come visit while he's trying to get Tate ready?
That's what I'm saying. But then you're into January 2nd, and you don't know what you're doing at quarterback, and they might already be locked and loaded somewhere else. So that's what I'm talking about with this schedule, man, and this calendar. Is I was thinking about that. Like, what if they were getting ready to play Washington, but they had already still recruited Cam Ward and DJ for next year? What does that mean for Tate? Would he won't even play in that game? And if he plays in that game and they win, well, now he's going to play January 9th. Can he even go transfer after that? He has no time to go look. And what if they commit? You know what I mean? Like, there's all these things that haven't quite played out, but that was maybe a possibility. Because they, They should have gotten into the playoff. We all understand that. And we all agree with that. But that doesn't take away from the question mark of next year at the quarterback position. And if they were getting ready to play Washington with Tate Rodemaker, they'd still have a question mark at quarterback heading into 2024, and they would have to account for that. That would have just been really fascinating. This, again, I know it kind of stinks. I know it's such a bummer of an end to an awesome season, but the season ended 3 weeks ago. This is essentially, just treat it like, for Florida State anyway, it's if you're like, let's say a Ravens fan, and you've already locked up number one home field throughout the playoffs. That 17th game where you play all of your backup and your practice squad players, that's what this game is for Florida State. No more or no less. It is a preseason game, or it is a game 8. It's a week 18 game where you've already wrapped up one seed in the playoffs, and you're just getting through the game with trying not to get hurt. That's what this game has turned into.
Get out of cold Tallahassee for 5 days. Got to go to Fogo de Chao. You're going to hang on the beach. Going to probably get a cool bowl gift. So, yeah, that's what this is about, not competing and showing what you guys are made of. On the way out, since it is the Warchant Transfer Portal Tracker powered by Cummins, what did you find more interesting over, I guess, the last 72 hours? Rodney Hill committing to FAMU or DJ Lundy committing to Colorado?
Probably Rodney committing to FAMU. I could be 100% wrong. I don't know the young man personally. I can't imagine he went into the portal wanting to stay in Tallahassee, but just played a different school. And FAMU has been great. They have done great with Florida State players. That's a cool transfer for them. I think he could be really good there. I would assume, but I would assume he went into the portal thinking he was going to another Power 5 school. Because why give up on Florida State? You're only a redshirt freshman. Why are you giving up on Florida State? You might end up being the starter next year for all we know. And he went in the portal and then ended up in the same city, but in an FCS school instead of an FBS school, albeit a very good FCS school. So I would say Rodney Hill, Lundy. I mean, I figured he'd end up at a place like that. And he might be a nice addition out there. He's a decent player. He's a good enough linebacker. He's certainly better than a lot of the guys they had on that roster this year.
Indeed. All right. Well, that's a wrap for us. I'm going to get on the road. I'm going to go meet up with Ira in Orlando. I'm going to be parking at a Target out there. So if you know people that work there, try not to tow my car for the next 5 days, guys. Certainly appreciate it. Stay connected to warchant.com. We'll have more videos if need be. We'll have a podcast tomorrow, though, for sure. Right? We'll hang out. We'll talk.
Sure, man. Absolutely.
Probably talk about all this sort of stuff.
Hey, wouldn't it be cool if we're talking about somebody transferring to Florida State instead of away from Florida State?
We're 13-0. We shouldn't ask for anything else, right? We got
a good point
on it. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for watching and listening. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and stay connected to warchant.com, the ultimate Seminoles sports source. Again, Tate Rodemaker intends to transfer, will not play in the Orange Bowl. Ira Schofel and myself will be down in Fort Lauderdale on Tuesday morning. There'll be a press conference. Then we speak to Alex Atkins and the offense. We'll have those interviews up on our website as well as Warchant TV, so do it. For Corey and myself again, Merry Christmas. Have a great one, everybody. Thanks for watching this edition of Warchant TV.